What is up, dudes and lady dudes? Welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today we've got some Charmer news. Now I know we got the Phantom Rage stuff also, but we did get this as well, and I felt like I knew I was going to spend enough time talking about those. I didn't want the video to be crazy long, so I decided to keep them separate. But yeah, Charmer stuff is still hype to me. Hopefully it is to you. And we're going to be going over the 3 new cards that we got revealed last night for the structure deck. So the only card we've had revealed so far prior to this has been the field spell as far as new stuff for the structure deck, and the field spell seems pretty good. So let's see if we can follow up pretty nicely here, or at least have some hope, get a nice start, right? All right, starting off with our first monster, we have Archfiend Reaper of Nefariousness. Is a level 5 Earth Beast effect monster. So interesting. They're actually like I guess these are like the bigger forms of the familiars. So that's fine. It's 2,000 attack, 200 defense. I'll take that 2,000 if it jumps on the field easily. You can use each effect from the second and third effects from this card once per turn. First effect, you can special summon this card from your hand or deck. Oh. Yeah, okay, that's all right. I almost forgot from like last night. Okay, by sending 1 face-up spellcaster monster you control and 1 face-up level 4 or lower earth monster you control to the graveyard. Second effect, when this card is special summoned by the procedure written in its first effect, you can special summon 1 level 4 or lower monster from your graveyard, but its effects are negated. And the third effect, if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add 1 spiritual earth art card or possessed spell or trap from your deck to your hand. I think this card's fine. I mean, I really think, like, when you think about this card specifically, as far as like resources, I think, right, it's a +1 if you're summoning it from deck. Like, the idea is you have 2 monsters on field, the spellcaster and the earth. You could send both to graveyard to get this out of the deck. On summon, this card would attempt to reborn the earth, or I guess it could be any, it's not even earth, it's any level 4 or lower, so it could reborn either technically if like there was a familiar possessed you attributed for it or sent for it. So right there, because you special from the deck, you've lost no resources, and then if you link this off from that point, or just this card leaves the field at any point from there, you will be able to search either spiritual earth art or possessed spell or trap. One of the things I will say is I looked at this when I was looking at the Charmer cards, all the Charmer cards we have so far. As far as the spiritual art cards go, the fire one is terrible, all it does is burn, and the earth one is also not so good because it's like tribute an earth monster to special summon an earth from grave, and that's bad because that's just a 1 for 2, right? That you're getting 1 monster back, but you're using 2 cards to get it. That's terrible. So I'm not really interested in the earth art or the fire art, which unfortunately are the only 2 we have so far here. But like, okay, we're moving on from that. But I do think getting this possessed stuff, because we already had, I believe, oh man, we have the spell and the trap, I think, are the main ones, the continuouses that we have so far, and then also we have another one here that is a new possessed trap. So like, we've got some stuff that is like playable that we will probably be playing somewhat of in here that we can grab, so that still works. Anyway, next we have blah 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 blah. Same thing. So this guy kind of starts the same. Awakened of the Possessed, Great Inari Fire. There's a level 5 fire pyro, 2,000 attack, 200 defense. Second and third are hard once per turns. You can special summon this card for your hand or deck by sending to the graveyard a face-up spellcaster and a level 4 or lower fire monster you control. One thing that I think is pretty cool is that their summoning effect doesn't seem to be once per turn. So as long as you can continually put the materials out for these, you could potentially just like go like special from deck, special from deck, special from deck, get me a spiritual art, get me a spiritual art, get me a possessed. Like, continually just rotate. That is actually pretty interesting. When this card is special summoned by the procedure written in its first effect, you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to the original attack of 1 monster your opponent controls. If you're doing this turn 1, your opponent won't have any monsters. It's just burn. This one's like one I definitely won't play. Probably. I mean, maybe you play it just for the sole fact that like it still has the third effect, because if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add a spiritual fire art card or 1 possessed spell or trap from your deck to the hand. Same thing. The fire one's like the worst one. All it does is burn. So I guess theoretically you could like burn once, grab the fire spiritual art card, and then burn it for another decent amount. But like, if it's not getting you the win, it's not worth. And this because this card immediately special summons a monster back, is why it's like so much better than fire, because this one ends up being like a break even, even if you're able to link this off and get the like a search for Possessed or the Fire Spiritual Art, this one like reborns a monster, so you go back to immediately having like the the resources you had on field, and then you get to search once you link him off again. So like I think he's just way better overall. Which takes us to our last card, which is Teamwork of the Possessed, a normal trap this time, not a continuous. You can only use one effect from the first and second effects of this card once per turn, and only once per turn, so you cannot use both in the same turn. First effect, you can special summon one spellcaster with 1500 defense from your hand or graveyard in face-up attack or face-down defense position. Then, if 2 or more attributes are among the monsters you control, you can destroy one face-up card on the field. And the second effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard to target a possessed spell or trap, continuous spell or trap in your graveyard, and place it face-up on your field. This card I think is this is pretty good for what the deck wants. The deck really is looking for disruption, and so far out of our first 4 new cards, we have the field spell, which is like essentially going to be 1 monster negate per turn. It's mandatory, but at least it forces your opponent to throw a resource at it just to get it out of the way, which is nice. And then you have Teamwork, which is also really cool because it also can be a disruption. Theoretically, you're probably going to be trying to use this as a disruption, right? You're going to be special summoning a spellcaster from hand or grave, giving you the second card, and then the second monster, and then getting you the pop. So the idea here, I think, is that like thinking about it this way, thinking about your Earth guy, right? You have, let's just say you meet the requirements. You have a spellcaster and an Earth on field. You send them to special this card straight from the deck. That will give you the Reborn, so you could Reborn either of them. It doesn't really matter, I don't think. Then you could link them off, and because this card was linked off, you would be able to search this card, which is a Possessed card, from your deck to your hand. And then, so you would have 1 link monster, 1 link 2, one of the probably familiar, or one of the Charmer links, and you would be able to set this. From there, you could activate this card, assuming one of them was a familiar possessed monster. You could Reborn the familiar possessed monster with 1500 defense, right? Then you would have 2 monsters with different attributes, one or like one of the whatever Charmer you linked into plus the one that you Reborned, and from there you would be able to get the pop. So I guess like just off being able to put a familiar possessed monster with another Earth monster, or as long as there is an Earth, I guess. I don't know. Like as long as you meet the requirements to summon the Earth guy, you will be able to set up getting 2 monsters on field and a pop. And then this card could also be like a resource recursion later on, just by getting you back a familiar possessed continuous. So I think that's pretty cool. I don't think that's like the craziest combo, but like getting that set up seems pretty easy based on like how this deck is probably going to run. And because of that, I will take it. I think any added disruption in this deck will be more than welcome. Plus, this card also just says like it's just like a Call of the Haunted, in archetype Call of the Haunted. It's searchable. Like I'll take that too, even if you don't get the pop. It is still just like a follow up, right? So, and like maybe, and it's also a card that just like helps you keep your field spell alive, because I believe the field spell is only live if you have a spellcaster with 1500 defense exactly. So like again, just being able to reestablish that and make sure you maintain those monster negates could be key in winning certain duels. So I will take it. Obviously, like if Konami wanted to make this deck like legit competitive, they would have done a little more here, but like I'll take it. I think the Earth one is good. I think the Fire one probably won't be played at all, and I think the Trap will go to be helpful and playable in the deck. So, and of course, just because we have these, we should probably expect to get the Water and the Wind one at some point. Hopefully their second effect is good, because that seems to be the one where it hinges on, but this third one is already going to be better for them because their spiritual art cards are actually worth searching. One of them just like rips a card out of your opponent's hand, and the other one I think like puts a monster on the field like on the bottom of your opponent's deck or the top of their deck. So they're actually like either good removal or just like hand control. The other one's like look at your opponent's hand and discard a card. Like I will take that for sure. That's actually pretty strong. So of course, guys, let me know your thoughts on these down below. I'm excited. Like, listen, my expectations weren't through the roof here. This is Charmers we're talking about. I didn't expect Konami to say Charmers. That's going to be our next competitive deck. I didn't expect that. I just wanted them to be somewhat more playable. I think this is cool. I love that these guys can special themselves from deck just like the old monsters used to, or the familiar possessed technically can, and I will take that. So I know this video probably ran a little bit long for a 3-card reveal, but thank you so much for watching, guys. As always, subscribe to the channel if you have not yet. If you want to see more news videos from me, stay up to date on all that stuff. And I love you. Peace. Enjoy. Let me know your thoughts on these. Bye.